Flavor family, guess who's back? Back again. It is Art and I at Walmart on the north side of Chicago to do a canned food review, which you guys have been requesting lately. Is it possible to find healthy canned food items? Which, you know what, makes a lot of sense because not everyone has access to fresh food and fresh produce. So I have a sneaking suspicion when we go into this Walmart, we're gonna find some good stuff because we're gonna look at soups, we're gonna look at vegetables, beans, tomatoes, everything canned and tell you if it's good, if it's bad, and why. But before we go in there and do our thing, you're gonna wanna click that red subscribe button right below the video and join the Flav City community. Because every single week we have 4 videos. So you know what? Better yet, there's a bell icon right below the video. Enable all notifications because as soon as we go live, you do not wanna miss out, especially the live cooking stream. We make a recipe from start to finish, hang out with the community, and that is a good old time. Let's start off by talking about something I really don't mind buying canned, and that is beans. And if you have the chance, I would get organic beans, because keep in mind, beans are legumes, they grow on the ground, they're very susceptible to herbicides and pesticides. But one of the cool things about buying canned beans is that they're pressure cooked. And why does pressure cooked beans matter? If you follow Dr. Gundry's plant paradox, you know about lectins. Lectins are proteins found in about 30% of foods. Lectins are bad news because they're anti-nutrients. Not only do they prevent your body from absorbing nutrients, they can cause a whole host of issues, including bloating, GI issues, gut issues, really, really bad stuff. So when I make beans at home, I pressure cook them in the Instant Pot, but all canned beans are actually pressure cooked, so they get rid of the lectins, making them much easier to digest and absorb the nutrients. So go for organic, and if you could actually find something like organic in a glass, that'd be amazing. These are Roland Great Northern beans. They're not organic, but if you have a choice between non-organic glass versus can, I would go for the glass just because it's safer in general. Then something you kind of have to pay attention to when it comes to beans is BPA, right? BPA is in the lining. It has a synthetic estrogen that can leak out. A lot of cans now are BPA free. You just have to read the label here and see if they specifically state that, but ideally it's good to buy BPA free. Now, I don't want you buying any beans that have the flavorings in here. Oh, go ahead. The Walmart brand.
Are they good?
Oh yeah, organic, legumes, the pressure cooked, it's good stuff. I would recommend those over the other ones for sure. Perfect segue on the beans not to buy. Refried is number 1, like the one she wants to buy. And number 2 is like the saucy or the flavored beans because they have a lot of undesirable ingredients in there. I just saw this, Dr. Pepper's beans, and I was wondering with Art how they get the 23 blends of spices in there and stuff. It must be from the natural flavors, but guys, they're adding a ton of brown sugar here, fructose, which is another word for sugar. They have natural flavors, maltodextrin. Anytime you see maltodextrin on a product, run, Forrest, run, because it's a derivative of corn, GMO corn, and it spikes the blood sugar because it's made of corn, which is a very simple starch. And then I saw something here like Bush's country-style baked beans with bacon and extra brown sugar, caramel coloring, brown sugar, modified cornstarch. Caramel coloring is a food coloring they put in to make things look brown and saucy. The problem is it's 100% fake and it's a known carcinogen. I really wish people would stop using that. So that's why you want to stick with the normal organic pressure cooked beans. That's where it's at and can save the day when you don't have time to pressure cook them at home. All right, now many of these canned vegetables on the wall here, veggies, I would not eat because they're overcooked and they're soggy and they're bland. But actually it's interesting because a couple of vegetables like corn and tomatoes actually have more antioxidants released when they're heated during the canning process. That being said, I would read labels again because first of all, stuff like this, I prefer the frozen variety. It's much better texture. But look at the ingredients on this one here. And it starts out decent. I love the fire roasted. But once you start going toward the bottom, we have yeast extract, which is another word for MSG. It's a man-made flavor enhancer. We have natural flavorings here. So I would not get that. If you're gonna happen to get canned corn, I would come over here, my friends. Once again, the Walmart organic selection here is phenomenal. $1.44, and what do you see here for ingredients? Organic corn, water, and sea salt. Not table salt, really good quality sea salt. So that's very nice here. But once again, I prefer frozen. And then I see a couple odds and ends. Like, come over here, you guys. I know this isn't technically canned, but this is next to the canned stuff. This is Frank's Kraut, and it's so close to being amazing because if we look at the ingredients here, we see that it doesn't have vinegar. So it is a natural fermentation, which is very gut friendly, very probiotic friendly, but it has a couple of preservatives here that I don't like. So as much as I'd like to recommend that, I can't. You're much better off getting the wild brine at Costco or the Bubbies at Whole Foods. So that I would mostly stay away from these canned vegetables because they just have really unpleasant flavor and texture. But come over here, you guys. This is the most interesting product because on top here is tahini. In here is chickpea puree. And on top is a spoon. So it's a DIY make and stir your own hummus, which I think in theory is really cool, but you kind of need a blender to whip a lot of air in there. I don't know if it's going to work. I almost want to buy it just to see, but Art, what do you think?
I think it has potential. They're telling you to do it for 15 seconds, so.
15, yeah, it tells you in the instructions.
Whip as much air
do it
as
for
you can.
15 seconds. So I know it's not a canned item, but I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this and I'll report later on. All right, let's head over to the tomatoes and the soup aisle because there's when it gets really interesting. So canned tomatoes are another vegetable that I have in my pantry all the time. And just like the canned corn, they have higher antioxidants when they're heated and cooked for the canning process. So that's a major score. The thing is, there's only one kind of can I would use on this entire wall. And it would be this one right here, the Cento San Marzano. In my opinion, this is the best tomato for your dollar because what happened in Naples, Italy years ago? Mount Vesuvius blew up. It was a terrible event that killed many people, but the area in Naples got enriched with volcanic ash. And because of that, the tomatoes and all the produce grown there taste really, really good. The thing is, $3.48 is the standard price for a 28-ounce container. Go to Costco, you can get a 128-ounce container for $3.80. It's the best deal, but I would only buy San Marzano. They are so tasty. All right, Art is checking out the wall of soups here. Let's investigate. Let's start with basic stuff like Progresso lentil soup. And this is interesting because if we look at the ingredients, you guys, it starts out pretty basic, right? We have lentils, we have tomato paste, celery, good stuff. But I start getting concerned with the less than 1%. And even though it's less than 1%, this is bad ingredients you don't want in your body. We're talking about modified food starch, that's GMO cornstarch. We're talking about soybean oil, that's GMO soybean oil, highly processed, highly refined, also highly inflammatory, always avoid that. Natural flavorings are artificial flavorings. And yeast extract here, that's another word for MSG. It's a man-made flavor enhancer. So this is a no. Luckily, there's some good ones down yonder. And then if I look at other Progressos here, like, here we go, Progresso roasted chicken noodle. This is like the basic soup, right? The problem is, look at these ingredients. Anytime you have a laundry list like this is bad news. We have GMO cornstarch once again. We have some preservatives. We have maltodextrin, more GMO corn. We have sugar. We have yeast extract. I mean, this is really bad stuff, so I would not get that one either. And we're going to talk about sodium content in a minute, something I'm not too concerned about unless you have high blood or high blood pressure. Art is studying the Campbells here. We'll get there next as soon as the Waldos here leave. It's a Waldo party, a swarm of Waldos. All right, let's look at the Campbells here, right? Let's go to basic Campbell's chicken noodle soup right here. I can always judge a soup by the basic chicken noodle.
It's not basic, that's chunky.
It's a chunky monkey? It's still basic in my.
Basic's the one down here.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a lot of ingredients here, you guys. We have natural flavoring. We have yeast extracts. See, these should not be in soups here. So the bad news is this one is out. We have soy protein concentrate, stuff you don't want to see. So that is out. But the good news is, right over to Art's left here, is some more premium Campbell stuff. So this is the, well, yes, butternut squash and sweet potato. How much is it? $1.68. And this is really interesting, you guys, because the ingredients are much cleaner. Look at this. It's sweet potato juice from concentrate, real sweet potatoes, real cream, a little bit of cornstarch, not ideal, but they have it here. And then look, cinnamon and ginger, those kind of fall spices, celery, that's great. How are we doing on sodium here? 590, not too bad. Tomato and basil soup here. Oh, this is sipping soup, Art. How do you feel about sipping soup?
Not a fan.
You prefer to drink soup?
Soup is supposed to be with a spoon, not out of a mug.
Okay, well, I actually don't mind it. And this one here also, tomato puree. See, they need a little bit of cornstarch in here because it has to bind it or bring it together. But look, you guys, extra virgin olive oil, no GMO oil. There is a little bit of, what is that, canola oil there? Not sure what that's for. But overall, this is much better. And then Campbell's has a slow kettle here. And if I look at the slow kettle baked potato soup, not my favorite, but I know a lot of people like it. we get a little nervous here, right? Look at all these ingredients, you guys, here. We have soy, a bunch of filler, we have preservatives, sodium phosphates. That stuff you normally see in deli meat. It's a preservatives, but too many phosphates in your body is bad news, and a lot of preserved foods or a lot of middle aisle foods have that. So that's no. I would go with the Campbell yes. This is probably one of the better ones.
Campbell's
Frozen.
chicken noodle soup with the frozen shapes. Elsa, Snowflake, Olaf, and Anna. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
Yes, there's many movies that Art has not seen. Don't get us started, it's very shameful. All right, so this is, in my opinion, best in class, and I'm super happy to have it here at Walmart. It's Amy's. And for example, if I look at the Amy's lentil soup, because we looked at Progresso lentil before, look at the ingredients here, you guys. Everything's organic, which is really important because lentils are legumes. What kind of oil are they using? Organic extra virgin olive oil. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And then everything else is real. No filler, all thriller, no preservatives, amazing. And that is the case with every single Amy's soup. This is the chunky tomato bisque here. We look at the ingredients, look at that. Organic, literally a handful. Organic cream, it's very hard to find organic cream in processed foods, and that's important because a lot of cream has carrageenan, this one doesn't. Any one of the Amy's soups, I know they're a little more expensive, are fantastic. Totally Bobby approved. All right, the holiday season is coming up. I'm going to do some amazing videos for you guys, but I'm still on the look for a chicken broth or a bone broth or a beef stock that doesn't have either natural flavorings like this one has or yeast extract. I heard Swanson has one, but I can't find it anywhere. Even the organic bone broth here from Sam's, it has organic beef flavor and sugar. If someone knows, and yeast extract of one that is clean, it's supposed to be a Swanson one. I can't find it. Please leave a comment down below. Now, unfortunately, the Amy's chilies here don't use the oil I was hoping they would. They all use high oleic oil. See right there, high oleic safflower oil. It has to say expeller press 2. Otherwise, it's highly processed and highly refined. And every one of these has high oleic, but it's not expeller press, which is a total bummer. So I would pass on Amy's. That's the first time I've seen that, and I don't see any other chilies here that are decent. Now, here is the wall of tuna. Art, what is your preferred tuna of choice?
I like tuna packed in water.
Wow. See, I'm an olive oil guy. That's interesting. Yeah. Now, I would say best in class tuna for any of these here, and I'm so glad to have it, is this brand here called Wild Planet. And the reason why it's best in class, read what it says right there. It's pole and line caught, meaning it's responsibly fished. A lot of these generic and even like major makers of tuna, they have fishermen who throw a huge line out to the sea. They overfish the ocean and they catch sea turtles and other stuff. When you're doing it by line and pole, that's the way to do it. But I actually don't eat wild albacore. I don't eat yellowfin. What I look for, here we go, this, chunk light. Chunk light is made up of smaller tuna. The smaller the tuna, the less mercury. So if you see albacore or yellowfin tuna like this right here, these are bigger tuna that have more mercury, and I'm really passionate about eating low mercury, so look for chunk light or chunk. You can buy it in oil, but the problem is this one is not olive oil. This one I guarantee is going to be soybean oil here. Yeah, see, it's GMO soybean oil. I actually couldn't find any chunk light packed in olive oil, so I would look for that right here. Bumblebee, chunk light, and you're going to be on Team Art because all we can find here is water. If you want super premium, this is Italian Tonino, and it's packed in olive oil. The problem is it's made from albacore or yellowfin, but it's really premium. So in all of these, look for chunk light because I want to look out for your mercury level intake. And then a lot of people sleep on sardines. Sardines are a tiny fish. So the smaller the fish, the less mercury. And this brand, Wild, King Oscars are the best. You can also get Wild for a really good price at Trader Joe's, packed in extra virgin olive oil. Isn't that great? Instead of the soybean oil. They're delicious. You can actually add them to any kind of dish. You can eat them raw. They make a great avocado toast. Great way to get fats, protein, and omega-3s. And anchovies are nice too, but they tend to be on the saltier side. But this is a great brand, and this one's pretty good too, but I would always look for wild caught. And then they have the creations here, but you gotta be careful for the flavorings they add here. Even this is nice, it's an EVOO, but it's once again yellowfin tuna, which is not what I want. Now, holiday season is coming up, and I just want to say there's nothing wrong with buying canned pumpkin. If you don't want to roast and scoop your own pumpkin, that's fine. But there is a very big difference between 100% pure pumpkin and easy pumpkin pie mix. This, my friends, is what you want to buy. This is pure pumpkin. If we look at the ingredients back here, we'll see one ingredient, pumpkin, right? Nothing else. And the problem is, if you by mistake grab the easy pumpkin pie mix here by the same company, it looks very similar. All of a sudden, when we look at the ingredients here, it's pumpkin, it's sugar, it's spices, it's dextrose, which is another word for sugar, and natural flavors. Look at the macros for the nutrition, 18 grams of sugar compared to 5 for the plain one. So you do not want to buy this. You want to season your own pumpkin pie. So put that one back and make sure you grab this one for the holidays. And then let's come down here. So I was actually very disappointed at this because I always have a can of Chipotles and Adobo in my refrigerator, and I have to check it, but I have a bad feeling now because come over here, B-roll style. We have many different kinds of Chipotle peppers and Adobo. San Marcos, La Morena, La Costeña. And the problem is, well, first of all, the reason why I love this is that a Chipotle is a smoked and dried jalapeno in Adobo sauce, which is like a tomatoey vinegar sauce. The problem is, look at the ingredients here. They all have the same oils. They're packed in soybean oil, you guys. That's GMO, highly processed, highly refined, inflammatory soybean oil. So that's really disappointing. So if I pick up another one here, La Morena, right? And we look at the ingredients for this one. What is this one packed in? Once again, soybean oil, GMO soybean oil. And then if we're gonna try to be in the World Series theme here and see if we're not gonna strike out, San Marcos, we pick up that one. And once again, canola oil. So just as processed, just as GMO. So that's super disappointing. If you know of a Chipotle in Adobo with a good quality oil, please let us know in the comments section. But these here at Walmart are a no-no, which is a major, major bummer. So I think of all the canned foods in my kitchen, the one I have all the time is coconut milk. The thing is, there's very few brands I like because even brands like Thai Kitchen or Native Forest, which is organic, always have gums or emulsifier. If I turn them over, this one here has guar gum, and the organic Native Forest one has guar gum too. And even though it's a relatively harmless emulsifier, I try to avoid emulsifiers where possible. And if you have a sensitive tummy or GI issues, avoid emulsifiers whenever possible because it can really irritate your stomach. So I would avoid these. The only one I can find that has no emulsifiers or fillers is the organic one at Trader Joe's. It's a fantastic price, and I would scoop that. Otherwise, I would put this down. But if you're in a pinch and you have to get one, get the organic one. This is stuff I have like 3 cans of this in my pantry at all times. All right, Flavor family, that is it. The canned food review is done. And you know what? I'm pretty stoked because if you know how to navigate those middle aisles that can be treacherous, you can find some nutritious, high quality, really healthy canned food items. And Amy, whoever you are crushing the game of prepared foods. So you guys, Art and I work really hard for these videos. We spend all day shooting, so like, subscribe, share. We got 2 more of those videos going below us right now. But Art and I will see you very soon. And we say until like we always do. # keep on cooking, mad love and peace from the north side of Chicago.